The UK is facing a perfect storm right now in the bond market, causing their bond market to crash at one of the fastest rates that we have seen in decades. And this bond market crash has forced the Bank of England, their central bank, to open up their money printer and start buying up their bonds at an unprecedented rate while inflation is already near record highs in England. Now, we all know that when you open up the money printer and print more money, that causes more inflation. And so this has more people worried about the health of the United Kingdom of England and how this is going to impact us here in the United States, because this does have a direct impact here on the United States, here in Wall Street, and here in our economy. So what I want to do today is start by talking about the 5 factors that are creating this perfect storm in the bond market in England. And then I'm going to relate what's happening in England to here in the United States and the things that you need to be aware of. So let me start by talking about these 5 factors. The first thing was what was happening with the pound relative to the dollar. So investors had been selling off the pound and moving towards the dollar. This is why we've been hearing about the dollar and the pound parity for the first time in history. The pound had fallen to its lowest level ever, meaning the dollar relative to the pound has grown in strength more than ever. And this is good news for you right now in the United States, because now if you want to go to England, you can buy more stuff. But it was a kind of sign of people's worries about the United Kingdom and England, because people now were wanting to get out of the currency and they wanted to own something safer. So they were moving to the dollar. So that was the first thing that happened. Second, England had elected a new prime minister, and this new prime minister has different plans on how to now combat their high inflation. She wants to focus on 2 things. 1, tax cuts across the board, and 2nd, more borrowing and more spending to help stimulate the economy and get the economy rolling again. So that was the second thing that happened. We had a new prime minister, new government, who proposed a lot of tax cuts and who proposed a lot of more government spending. This brought me to the 3rd factor. When people heard about these new government spending plans, these new tax cuts, they started dumping the pound even more. It caused a huge sell-off in the bond market, the government bond market for pounds. And now people wanted to get away from the pound because they were worried about more inflation happening. So now they're trying to get away from the pound. Then number 4, you have all these big pension funds, these big institutions managing billions, tens of billions of dollars, people's retirement accounts, that are now holding on to government bonds. Long-term government bonds. They were supposed to be the safest investment in the world. And now, as people are selling off their bonds, these pension funds and institutions are facing margin calls. They were called collateral calls, where now they have to put up money to continue holding on to their investment. And these pension funds didn't have all that money. So now they were forced to sell off some of their bonds to keep their investments, to keep people's retirement accounts whole. And they didn't even have the money to do that. So now you had these pension funds and retirement funds and huge investment funds that were facing a solvency crisis. They didn't have the money and the ability to keep holding on to their investments. And they were on the verge of running out of cash and losing. You have all these citizens of England, people just losing their retirement accounts. Imagine your 401k just disappearing, not going to 50% less, just disappearing, because this bank that was holding on to people's investments, pension funds, were about to go bust. And so now you have the bond market selling off. Now you have pension funds that are also selling off their bonds as a way to just restore some sanity into their firms. And that's when, number 5, the Bank of England said they don't want to see this sort of credit crisis. They don't want to see this pension fund crisis. So they opened up the money printer and they said that they would buy an unlimited amount of bonds to help restore stability into the bond market in England. They said, the Bank of England, this is what they said, that if this dysfunction continued to worsen, meaning people selling off the bonds, people getting away from pounds, then the UK financial market could become unstable, and then the flow of credit could be reduced, aka their entire financial market, the entire financial system could collapse. That's why the Bank of England then opened up their money printer and then started buying up an unlimited amount of bonds. And this is happening at the same time when the Bank of England is trying to fight off inflation. They have a plan this year in 2022 to sell off about $80 billion worth of their assets, kind of like how the Federal Reserve Bank has built up a $9 trillion balance sheet of assets here in the United States. Well, the Bank of England has done the same thing. They bought up a lot of assets over the last number of years. And now they said prior to this that they want to sell off $80 billion worth of assets. before the end of the year. And they said that they still want to do that. And so the Bank of England doesn't have as many assets as the Fed does. They have about $840 billion worth of pounds of assets compared to the Federal Reserve Bank here, which has almost $9 trillion. But you can kind of see the opposing things that the Bank of England is having to do. On one hand, they're saying that they want to fight inflation. On the other hand, they're opening up the money printer to now stimulate and save their bond market, essentially bail out the bond market because investors don't want to own it. And then the Bank of England said, quote, this was a response to a fairly specific issue with their investments, they call it LDIs, and the relationship they have with pension funds. So the Bank of England is saying, don't worry, we have it under control. This is a very specific issue and it's contained to the bond market and it's not going to spread to the broader economy. Now, of course, we've heard people say this in different instances in history around the world. They're trying to calm people down, but this is where you want to be aware of what's happening. Now, we did cover the story in market briefs. So if you want to stay up to date on what's happening, when it's happening, you have to join market briefs. It is my free financial newsletter where every day my team is breaking down what's happening, not just in the global economy, not just inflation, but also the real estate market, the stock market, and crypto into a fun, witty, and easy to read email. If you have not joined market briefs yet, what are you waiting for? It is completely free. And if you're an investor, you need to stay up to date on what's happening right now. So if you want to join market briefs, I got the link to how you can join for free down in the description below. Now the question is, we have all this instability in England, across the sea in Europe. How does that impact us here in the United States? Yeah, we're a global economy, but what's the direct impact? Well, this is where Morgan Stanley gave a little talk about this. And Morgan Stanley actually said that when the dollar strengthens, it hurts profits of companies here in the United States. They wrote a whole piece on this, or they gave a whole piece on this, where they said that every 1% change in the dollar has a negative 0.5% change in company profits. So essentially, when the dollar goes up, they say, Morgan Stanley says that company profits in the United States drop. And what they're saying is that in 2022, the dollar index has risen by 19%, while the stock market has only fallen by 23%. And so they're expecting, Morgan Stanley is expecting stocks to fall by another 10% by the end of 2022, just because of the dollar rising. Now, on top of that, if you want to take it one step further, everything that's going on in England is not something that can't happen here in the United States. Why were people selling the pound? They were worried about inflation. They started to realize that this inflation problem might not go away very quickly. So they wanted to move away from their currency. And their safe haven was the dollar. So you have countries around the world that are trying to move to a safer haven for their currency as inflation is very high. Now, right now, that's good for us because the dollar is strong. But what happens if people start to realize or feel that inflation is high in the United States, that it's going to continue to be high, and they want to get away from the dollar? They want to get away from our fiat currency in America. Then what? And this is where you don't want to be one of the people that's just watching it happen and then reacting. This is where you want to be proactive and be aware, because we could see something similar here. Yeah, right now we're on top, the dollar is strong, but there's a chance that we could continue to see our economy start to slow down. And if that happens, that could impact the value of the dollar. You have people around the world that believe that the United States economy is very strong, that we don't have to worry about a recession like other countries do. And so because of that, the dollar is a safe haven. But if our economy continues to go down, if we continue to see inflation high, this is going to cause more problems for our dollar and our economy. And right now, if you pay attention to what's happening, it looks like we're going to continue to be facing an inflation problem. Right now, we've been seeing inflation as, quote, low as it is because oil prices are low. But we're seeing gas prices go up around the country. We're still seeing the price of food rise. Yeah, we're seeing the prices of home prices not grow as much, but we're seeing the prices of other things still rise. And this is what you want to pay attention to, that our economy is not out of the water. We have a lot of uncertainty ahead, and it looks like we're going to have a lot of pain ahead. Because even the Fed says that inflation is not coming down to 2% anytime soon. They want to bring inflation down to 2%. They're willing to do whatever it takes to bring it down to 2%. But the fight to bring inflation down to 2% is going to cause pain. And if it takes, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years to bring inflation down to 2%, that means you have the next number of years where inflation is above 2%. And that is going to hurt people even more because that means the price of things are still rising faster than wages. So between now and then, it's going to become more and more difficult for people to survive. All these things are going to impact the economy. While we're still seeing economic slowdowns happen, we're seeing the stock market get hurt, we're seeing the real estate market get hurt, and the Federal Reserve Bank has not pulled up the gas pedal on their fight on inflation. And as they continue to raise interest rates, it's going to continue to hurt businesses, it's going to continue to hurt the stock market, it's going to continue to hurt the real estate market, and this is where you want to pay attention to what's happening. And of course, we'll keep you updated on market briefs. If you haven't joined yet, make sure you do that, but this is where you want to be financially educated, and this is where you want to be prepared. That way you can take advantage of opportunities that come your way, because these types of volatile and downward market cycles create more opportunities than any other time, but you have to be educated and you have to be prepared. Prepared meaning having access to cash or access to capital. That way you can purchase assets at a discounted price. Now, of course, if you want to stay updated, you can subscribe to my channel, or you can also join market briefs down in the description. Now, if you're doing the math to see how much money you have to invest to retire off of, you might be a little bit discouraged because you might say, well, if I invest $100, I'm only getting $8 a year. That's not that much. If I invest $100,000, I'm getting $8 grand a year. That's about $22 a day.